Prime Minister?
Have you lost your MPs' trust?
But is his party over him? 100 plus of Boris Johnson's colleagues rebelling against his COVID controls yesterday. The Commons no longer a happy place for this Prime Minister, rejected by so many of his party and reliant on his opponents to push relatively mild restrictions through.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister is so weak that without Labour votes last night, vital public health measures wouldn't have got through. But this country can't... Says it's not true. Oh, God. I haven't got... It's not true. He's so socially distant from the truth. He thinks that that's not true. I don't know where to start. We better press on. We can't go on with a Prime Minister who's too weak to lead.
Boris Johnson in denial.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. We won that vote last night with Conservative votes, as I told the House. I respect the feelings and I respect the anxieties that colleagues have about... Of course I do. I respect and understand the anxieties, the legitimate anxieties that colleagues have about restrictions on their liberty, but I believe, and on the liberty of people, but I believe that the approach that we're taking is balanced and proportionate and right for this country.
But are things being kept in proportion? And if tougher restrictions are required, the Prime Minister can't rely on his party to vote them into law. MPs are making up their own minds.
The government scientists are saying it's the worst it's ever been today.
And the government, sorry to interrupt, but government scientists have been wrong so often before when they've been saying things that are dreadfully bad, and they never were dreadfully bad in relation to what they were saying. You know, number of cases, it weren't that number. Number of deaths, it weren't that number of deaths. So everyone has to make a... That's what, unfortunately, what we politicians have to do. We're not experts. We have to listen to everyone and make a mind up.
Infection rates are soaring, but as we approach a big new wave, Boris Johnson is leaving it to you to decide whether or not to go out, see your friends, go to parties. He says it's because of the success of the vaccination programme. But could he even impose new restrictions if he wanted to, given the scale of opposition in his own party, leaving him perilously dependent on the opposition? Trapped between scientists on the one hand and his own MPs on the other.
A year that has aged us all, including the Prime Minister. For him, it's been testing, bruising and draining. But can he now regain the authority he once enjoyed as he faces his biggest challenge to date? Sam Coates, Sky News, Westminster.